Expedition 33 is easily one of the most exciting games that came out of the Xbox Showcase, which is something special because that showcase was probably Xbox's best showcase of all time, in my opinion. As a JRPG fan, the game speaks to me. It has everything I would want. A beautiful world to explore, characters that make me curious to learn more about them, an active turn-based combat system that you would have to engage with to get something out of, and the premise is that people in this world are slowly being culled out of existence, which is a pretty dark theme, but we like dark themes in this house. Someone known as the Paintress has been terrorizing the populace, and without fail, each year she paints a number into her cursed monolith. Once that happens, every person that is the same age as that number vanishes in a puff of smoke. The characters that form our party are all on a mission to stop this from ever happening again. It's a pretty unique premise. It isn't like we've never heard of this sort of thing happening before. Take, for example, The Lottery by Shirley Jackson. It kind of evokes that. One person gets picked, and they get taken care of. But the idea that this would happen on such a large scale, it gives a clear focus for an epic journey against evil that definitely makes me excited to see how all of that plays out. I've already started brainstorming the different possibilities for some sort of twist ending that involves good reasons for what the Paintress is doing, and us being the bad guys all along, of course. We've also seen a good amount of the variety of monsters that we'll be fighting, and I have to say, I'm very impressed. Everything is done in an original style that is very eye-catching. There's all sorts of demons and devils, from this Pontiff Sullivan-looking guy to Arctic Wolf, even a guy that looks a little bit like Pyramid Head. And the combat looks like a very fun, reactive, and innovative form of turn-based combat. It isn't only simple commands that you'll be doing, there's a lot more to it. There are various options like dodge, parry, and jump, so you'll have to watch out for specific timings in order to get the best out of your team. It's not just, pick one thing, do it, and then move on. You have to actually be paying attention the whole time. That stays true in attack as well. It appears to have some sort of rhythmic button presses to it, and I really enjoyed that sort of system in games like Super Mario RPG. So it sounds like that'll be very fun. How much that stays true throughout the game is a bit harder to say. These kinds of combat systems can often be fun for a while, but eventually get old, especially if there are a lot of smaller encounters. So we'll see how they manage to keep things interesting and changing over the course of the game, which I assume will be 30 to 40 hours long. A lot of opportunity to switch things up or get stale, so I guess we'll see. Obviously, what stood out the most is the incredible visuals, so it isn't just high-fidelity graphics, it's a style that sticks out, especially in the environments. From the little we've seen so far, I have a feeling there will be constant jaw-dropping scenes in this game. And all of that is something that I think a lot of people that played through the recent DLC for Elden Ring will be very well prepared for. There are so many different areas in that game that are incredible, and there's a certain art to doing that. It isn't just about showing something that attracts your eye, it's the way that you set up that scene, how that scene changes as you're moving through it. If you do it right, it can be fun to just exist in that world and move around. And that's the vibe that I'm getting from Expedition 33. One thing that caught my interest is they've said this expedition is not the first of its kind. There have been dozens of failed attempts to kill the Paintress. It makes me wonder how long this has all been going on for. It makes it sound like it's been going on for a very long time. So are we going to be exploring 100 years of history here? 200? That adds a nice bit of mystery to the game. Presumably, we'll be learning about those previous crews that went through all of that and died, who they were, what happened to them. I love some good environmental storytelling, so definitely is something that I'm looking forward to. Of course, as much as I like to hype myself up, I think we have to keep in mind that this is an untested studio. They do have veteran developers, so they're not new, but this is the studio's first game. Some of their team have worked at studios like Ubisoft and on games like Far Cry and Assassin's Creed, but for many of them, this is their first big project, so I'd say try to keep your expectations reasonable. Having a 7 out of 10 on your first game is a win. I obviously hope for a lot more than that, but we also shouldn't go in expecting a 10 out of 10. They've already revealed a good amount of the characters that we'll be traveling with, so let's take a look at those. Alright, so here are some of the characters that they have decided to show off. Let's go ahead and start at the beginning. We've got Gustav. It seems like he is the main protagonist. He's an engineer, and he wants to devote his final year of life to defeating the Paintress. Then we got Luna. He's a scholar and a mage, so some sort of mage-style character. Then we have Ciel, the cheerful and serene warrior, a farmer turned teacher. So she has a teasing smile and a dark past. This is male. She's 16, so she's significantly younger than the rest of the people on the expedition. And that is it. So I think that is all of the characters that we have seen so far. I assume there'll probably be more characters than that. But let's go ahead and look at the rest of this, because this is actually a really nice website. A lot of games have really cool websites. I would recommend you check them out whenever you hear a new game get announced. So here's kind of the feel that they're going for. This character's floating, so that'll be interesting. Maybe that's the mage character. It's on all of these platforms. Just a very cool, like, painterly feel to it, which makes sense considering who the antagonist is. Year by year, she erases us. So here is where the number gets painted on, I'm pretty sure. That is pretty cool. All these different evocative images as you exploring the world. Yeah, and it has reactive turn-based combat. So that's something that is going to be very cool. I think definitely visually they have everything nailed. Now we just have to see if they can get the feeling of the game down or not. And like I said, they're a new studio, so we have to give them a little bit of leeway. Well, we don't have to, but I'm going to. There's some of the monsters, some characters. It's moving very fast. I'm not controlling it. There are some of the characters. See if I can get this to pause. Something in the background over there. Very cool. So that is Clair Obscur Expedition 33. I'm sure I butchered that French pronunciation. I can butcher the English language too. But yeah, it is going to be out in 2025 at some point. There wasn't a very clear release date. It's just a 2025 window. It is coming out on the Xbox Series X and S, the PS5, Steam, and Epic, so you can wishlist that now. Yeah, the game looks great. It has sort of a JRPG flair to it, so a lot of the JRPG fans out there, I think keep this one on your radar. Looks great. Thanks for watching.